A very good evening. I'm Dr. Anand from Occupational Department and Safety Health from Hospital Tolo Intan. Today, I would like to do a presentation regarding occupational hygiene and identifications. Okay, first, we have to note that there is a modification as well toxification involving some chemicals that involving peripheral neuropathy. First of all, we have to identify the legal requirement that plays the important prospect in this matter. That is, to comply with OSHA 1995 Act, Use 2000 Regulation, and Class 2013. We also have to start the process by risk identification. That is, can be identified via HIRAC, Hazard Identification Risk Assessment and Risk Control, Chemical Health Risk Assessors, plus with walkthrough surveys that's supposed to be conducted at the industry. The policy and SOP have to be validated in where does chemical hygiene handling policy and SOPs to be done, hands-on training to be conducted periodically. Chemical hygiene program must be done and validated so that we are able to conduct a very good and dedicative program at our workplace. Hence, the medical surveillance prospect is a must. Before we go further, let me identify the function of hexanes and its relative components. The physicochemical properties is a colorless, flammable liquid and highly volatile. It has a permissive exposure limit over the 8 hour in where does 50 ppm. Then mechanism of action is acute action irritant, depressant for central nervous system, and also is readily absorbed by all the roots, but in industry, inhalation and dermal roots domains. Readily soluble in fat, about 15 to 20% of hexane is taken up by the lungs. Non-occupational exposure and hexane may be present in glues and other household solvent mixtures. The toxic effects. Acute effects involving the conjunctivitis, defecting dermatitis, dizziness, nervous system necrosis. In ways thus there is a combination of the program can able to cause a synergistic effect in where thus it able to affect our central nervous system. And it also may able to cause dizziness, ataxia and incoordination. Peripheral neuropathy have been reported and along with the anorexia and nausea and irritation. The chronic effects including system neuropathy, weakness and loss of sensation over the extremities. Pre-placement examination must be conducted in order to be able to identify the pre-existing condition that able to aggravate the chemical poisoning. The particular attention should be keyed to the kidney, neurological and lungs. If above permissive exposure limit and suggested by assessor, they must conduct the medical surveillance program. And periodic medical examinations, this should be have similar content to the pre-employment. A frequency of once or twice a year is appropriate. Additional elements may include psychological testing, testing of nerve function by recording, conducting velocities. The prevention measures include adequate ventilation, personal protective equipment, chemical goggles, chemical cartridge respirator, rubber glove, and prohibited in cleaning and degreasing purposes. The engineering control being used to improvise and fixed engineering controls. Isolation to be isolated via installing chambers. Administrative to establish schedule and reduce number of staff of working bay and staff symptom identification trainings. This is very important in order to train the staff to have an early identification, able to do the early reporting to the employee. And all the examinations shall be conducted by occupational health doctor along with the medical surveillance program. Personal protective equipment in where the face mask must be used, apron, glove and shoes is a must. Hence, via this, a proper chemical hygiene monitoring can be conducted upon a very good schedule program. And we are also able to identify all the necessary components in the hygiene program to prevent the intoxications. And we would like to highlight that early staff identification plays important role and The awareness regarding the sign and symptoms is a must. Thank you.